Ah! Welcome to Lorelines, everybody. Fowlin Hawk speaking. Episode 59, Ivalice Part 3. We're discussing the Tactics Advanced games, I believe, today. And I'm here to welcome everyone to the stream. Thanks for being here. And
I like how you led with disgusting the tactics.
disgusting. That was some sort of slip, I'm sure. In truth, I never played the Tactics Advanced games because by the time they came out, they seemed to me to be a bit
grown
beneath
boy?
my age group, I guess. But then I learned many years after the fact that they're quite good and not. So please take it away. Hello, everybody. I hope
You really should play the Tactics Advanced games. Like, for those that really enjoyed Tactics, I get it. Like, you're purists or whatever. But if for those that owned a Game Boy Advance SP or Game Boy Advance, it was one of the best strategy games, RPG games that you could possibly own, besides Fire Emblem and Golden Sun.
Wow, thanks. None of which I have played. So I will tell you right now.
Excuse me?
Everything that I know.
Go has missed basically the golden age of Game Boy Advance. So
Yeah, I
you
missed
should-
all of Game Boy. Like, I have a Game Boy, like a Game Boy. It's got the green LCD screen and it's black and green, and that's it. And that's the only Game Boy I've ever owned. But I'm going to tell you, I'm going to drop all the information now I have about Tactics Advance. And this might be Tactics Advance 2 or 1. I have no idea. Because I know this game exists. And I know it deals with a kid in a wheelchair. And they go to Ivalice. And they're like, this place is awesome. I can walk again. And his friends are like, fuck you. We're going back to reality, so you're going back in your wheelchair. He's like, no! And you're playing as the kids trying to get this kid to go back to reality and abandon this place that gives him everything he's ever wanted. And you're the bad guy, essentially. So,
in other news, happy birthday, Fow.
Hey,
happy birthday, Fow.
Happy
birthday, Fow.
Someone loves me. What's going on?
We all love you, Fow.
You have fans.
I have a fan.
You are not far from the truth, Cobran, and it does go a little bit darker than that, but yeah, you're not far off.
Awesome.
Boy.
Good to know.
Guys, I hope I sound okay now. Not that I'll be talking a lot. I've been having some issues today, so I boosted a little bit, and hopefully we're good. So anyway,
You boosted?
boosted.
You're not supposed to boost levels.
Yeah, I boosted my levels.
Oh my god, how dare you.
Booster.
Okay.
Skipper.
Level skipper.
So yeah.
Wait, is that a winky?
So what basically from Cobb's description, I think what you got basically was the urban legends of Tactics Advance.
It's abridged.
I mean, that's all I know of it. So
You're
please,
abridged?
fill me in. Let me know. I don't know anything about this game.
Yeah, talk to me about this. And I can bring up some slides if you want. Let me know.
Yeah, I might as well because yeah, I'm gonna give me a moment. I'm going to give you a bit of. Meanwhile, while I search stuff for file, you can introduce the game. The Tactics Advance series.
So, Tactics Advance, it's a strategy RPG. It started on the Game Boy Advance. It's not a direct or remake of Tactics, but it takes place in like the same setting. It's the same kind of universe or whatever. It's similar, but not exact to how Tactics was. You put together a group of fighters known as like a clan, and you control their actions over a grid like Battlefield, just like the Tactics was. And other games actually kind of run the same kind of thing, like Disgaea, if you've ever played that game. For the most part, players people are free to decide the party's classes, abilities, and stats. And it actually spawned a sequel, A2 Grimoire of the Rift.
Yep.
It
Basically.
is
Interesting.
very good.
So I played Disgaea, and I liked Disgaea. Disgaea was good.
This guy is wild.
It's nonsense and
Pretty,
it's crazy, but it's fun.
Mhm.
Pretty.
So I would say that this game is like, it's called Advance obviously because it came out on Game Boy Advance, I'm assuming, but I feel like a
Yes.
better name for it would be Final Fantasy Tactics Gaiden. Like, it's kind of a side story that just doesn't really.
Not really. I mean, it's not a side story. If you recall that we talk about the Ivalice timeline, uh, um, Tactics Advance is basically in the very far-flung future of Ivalice. To the
Okay, cool.
point, I mean, if you've noticed, like the first game in the Ivalice series, chronologically speaking, will be Final Fantasy 12. Then Revenant Wing, which is for it's kind of the sequel for the Nintendo DS.
Mhm.
Then Grimoire of the Rift happens in this time. It's kind of complicated, but let's say that Tactics Advance Grimoire of the Rift happens after Revenant Wings. Then we got a big jump on time to Tactics when the Cataclysm happened, and Vagrant Story, which is more or less 500 years after Tactics. And then we got Tactics Advance, which is the modern age, in which, if you recall, in 12, the world is called Ivalice. After the Cataclysm, Ivalice is the knowledge of the world has been reduced to the Kingdom of Ivalice. Only a region of was it Valendia? I don't remember right now. Or no, Ordalia. Sorry. A region of Ordalia known as Ivalice, and by Tactics Advance point, it's reduced to a town named Saint Ivalice.
So be afraid, the world is ending through flood and quake.
Interesting. Alex says, I feel bad because I use Evilly Space Glam often, but almost know nothing about the original setting. Me too. I have Agrius's top for my tank, but I've never played Tactics.
Medieval Renaissance is just so appealing. I mean, I don't blame you at all.
Like
What's
when
even...
you think of Ivalice, basically, without having to go too deep into the games, you can go either medieval, super medieval, or you can go super steampunk, and you could fit easily into Ivalice culture and lore.
Absolutely
Yeah.
true. Yeah.
I like it. So the sad part is, of all of this, is I own 12, Revenant Wings, Tactics War of the Alliance, and Vagrant Story, and I've only played 12.
So which are you playing first?
So I'm eventually going to be playing through all of them. I'm going to stream it at some point.
We're all very excited, but tune into the Final Fantasy 13 streams for now.
I will make him play the trilogy. Entire trilogy.
It'll
We'll be-
be 2 years then, everybody.
No! I mean, I played the trilogy in just took me, the entire trilogy just took me 3 months or so.
That's not too bad. So right now we're playing through Final Fantasy 13 1, and then we'll be playing through Final Fantasy 13 also. And then the third one.
I don't think was that a joke before the stream?
It was before the stream.
All right, guys. So they were having a dialectic about is Monday Final Fantasy 13 2?
Yes.
And so Cobran says, no, it's 13-1. And I said, you mean 13 also?
Yes. So now Final Fantasy 13 is Final Fantasy 13 also.
And then returns to Final Fantasy 13 whatever.
I don't know if like 13.3 will be in addition or.
I mean, you could call it 13.3
Additionally,
if you wanted.
Plus or minus.
So before we go on, Alex is like, wait, you guys stream games? So Fao, would you please tell the chat what's going on?
In terms of our stream schedule?
Yes.
Yeah, so Cobran's doing, on Mondays, he's doing Final Fantasy 13, and it's his first blind playthrough with some commentary from Meowth. It's a lot of fun, you should tune in. Ayumi, I forget what day he's doing it, but he's been doing Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which is an incredible game that I should be in love with, but just don't have time to play more games than I play. It looks incredible, and y'all should tune in. And then every once in a while, I'll be streaming something. This Saturday, I did a trial run of New World and had a few viewers. It's a lot of fun. I don't know if I'm going to be doing that consistently, but I'm definitely playing Elden Ring on stream. So, didn't we have a third not me thing going on?
Guild Wars?
Guild Wars, of course. Meowth is streaming a new character on Guild Wars 2. So, what day of the week
With
are you doing
Ayumi.
It's a wild rabbit.
Oh.
Boom boom.
No. Hello, Arden.
Morning.
It's
It's one of those
mid-afternoon, Arden.
days.
I felt that.
It's alright, she's our vampire.
Arden's like, I just opened my eyes. I haven't gotten out of bed yet. I haven't had any caffeine. My head hurts. And y'all are streaming.
Just opened a monster.
You are a monster.
Not wrong.
Hey Meowth, what day are you streaming Guild Wars?
So yeah, I tried to adapt to Ayumi's schedule because but mostly has been Thursdays, right?
Yes, Thursdays.
Okay, so Thursdays for Guild Wars, Mondays for Final Fantasy 13, and what day for... We'll put up a schedule, you guys. We're going to work on that on the site.
Fridays Assassin's Creed.
Got
But y'all don't tune in, so fuck y'all.
Oh, the challenge.
Oh, I feel dismissed. I tuned in.
You do.
And I was
I
like, this
mean-
game looks cool.
I would tune in if it wasn't because I'm for streaming Guild Wars. I have already to. I have to do a kind of an effort because for my time for Ayumi to be there, I have to start streaming at 2 a.m. And
Ooh.
on Mondays, COP starts 12 a.m. my time, and we usually end up the stream at 4 a.m. So I don't really want to compromise my sleep schedule that much. But I guess even despite that, I'm still night owl.
The issue being, we have no problems compromising your sleep schedule. So
Yeah, I know. I'm the one who has to adapt because I'm the only European.
which is funny because most of the people who tuned into the stream were from Europe.
Uh-huh.
Yee.
I mean, yeah, true. Apologies for that. It's hard being European.
It's super difficult being from Europe. Hmm.
Oh my god, it's like so hard.
Don't ever do that again.
I mean, we're making fun of our only true cat person.
Excuse me?
Wow.
I'm right here, Foul.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Cor. I'm also Mikote. I've offended
You-
everyone.
I was going to say I am the
I
only
should end it.
Ellison here.
Yeah.
I mean, Core plays an Ellison like occasionally, but her
You're only the
Main
only
is
Ellison
the
because
code.
Neela is not here.
Yeah.
I like to think I'm also an Elzen player. I do spend a lot of time
Yeah.
on Lucian too. But yes, I'm
But
a cat person
anyways.
at heart.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, back to Final Fantasy Tactics Advance.
Yes, I heard that
So-
the world was ending or something.
Yeah, the world is totally ending over
Yes.
the course of the timeline via flood and quake. It's horrifying.
Well, this is kind of the point. By the point Tactics Advance happens, there's barely any magic in the world. There's cars, so if that helps. But the story basically starts with a bunch of kids with each one. No, they don't really have a happy life, so to speak. Any of them. And one of them finds they become friends, and one of them finds in a library an old grimoire that basically they open it and they unleash the magics inside and turn Saint Ivalice into a recreation of Ivalice, of the old Ivalice.
Yeah, it begins.
And
The game begins in a modern world in a city called Saint Ivalice,
mhm.
and the initial stages, and they're basically they show you how to do the do everything in the game. The stages do as per usual, as a tutorial usually goes. Um, and the main character's name is Marsh, and then his brother Doned, and their friend Ritz, and a fellow classmate named Mute. And they find a strange book that transports them into a fantasy world.
That's so they find themselves in this, and it's actually tactic. It was. Do remind me which game came out earlier, Tactics Advance or Final Fantasy 12?
12 came out in like 2006, I believe.
Final Fantasy Tactics Advance released in Japan in around 2002, 3, I think.
Yeah, that would have been way before
12.
12.
So it was before 12. Okay, so then technically, Tactics Advance was the first game in the Ivalice series that introduced different races aside from the humans.
Yeah, because
And
we got the Numo, we got the Banga, we got the Vera, and Moogles. Moogles were a race too.
I mean, I will always say that evolution Moogles are the best Moogles.
So I was gonna
'Cause they
say
actually did shit.
it was culture shock to me to see the Moogles in 12, and I did not accept them, and I still have not. That's why I'm waiting to play the game again.
They're so
So I can blame
cute.
Tactics Advance for that redesign.
If you play Tactics Advance, you will come to love them because they are actually really good.
See, I'm used to the
Yeah.
14 Moogles now that are just alcoholic assholes.
Right. And I
They're
mean,
not that way in Tactics Advance.
makes
They
me
are
wonder-
excellent units.
that makes me wonder if Uzael would like tactics.
Probably. Good morning, Bambi Sparkle.
I had a Time Mage in Tactics Advance, a Moogle Time Mage that was excellent.
I use a Black Mage Moogle. A mix of main job Black Mage, secondary job Time Mage, because Black Mage has a higher magic growth, and when they learn Geomancy, which is the passive that allows them to surpass one level the elemental weakness, it's just destroy
So, do you guys remember cross-class skills at all? Back when Final Fantasy had that, 14
Yes.
had that.
Absolutely.
That was
part of the game that was never.
Give
fully
me back
capitalized
Cleric
on.
Stance and Protect.
and that was a thing. In Final Fantasy Tactics Advance, you had a large list of jobs, and you could select your primary job and you could select your secondary job. You can pick and choose and mix and match abilities from both to create a very specialized unit. So you, again, could have a Black Mage, White Mage type unit. You were limited on some things. You were limited. So you couldn't have like a warrior and let's say Black Mage type thing, but you could take some abilities from other classes and make it your own, pretty much.
So, question. There had to have been an optimal setup because this is a single-player Final Fantasy Tactics game. What was the Chad class?
While you're thinking about the chat class, I'm going to switch scenes so I can put up some images.
My opinion, Paladin.
My opinion, in Tactics Advance, in Game Boy Advance, Tactics Advance, likely Assassin.
Assassin's close behind Paladin, but Paladin is ridiculous. I had a Paladin that could dual wield, and I gave her dual wielding Excalibur and Excalibur 2.
What?
So, and I also gave her counter and reflex. And there was a mission where I sent her out. She, using her cover ability, which is standard by all Paladin abilities, I had her cover one of my healer units. The enemy attacked. The paladin immediately teleported to that space. Because of reflex, she wasn't hit. Because of counter, she immediately counterattacked and hit them for as much as possible damage as the game would allow.
That's incredible. I want that. Can I have that now, please?
You can. I mean, you can. What?
I want that class in the game.
It was absolutely stupid.
You can do really broken things in these two games, in Tactics and Tactics Advance 2. More so in Tactics Advance, because there was my only complaint about Tactics Advance 2 is that they made a change in which you don't start with. I mean, the units don't start with the entire pool of MP. So the mages are kind of, you regain kind of 10 MP each turn. So you kind of have to backseat the mages if you want to use them, or use ether or an elixir, and it's kind of not really optimal. And in Tactics Advanced proper, you could just throw a black mage into the raffle and start blasting things.
So I'm gonna go. Go ahead.
I'm seeing a class or a race I have never seen before, which is the Gria, and I want to know everything about them, and I want to know when we're getting them in 14 because they look awesome.
I would absolutely switch to this tomorrow.
I would switch to them yesterday.
The Gria are Tactics Advance 2 exclusive.
Yes.
Did they die or something?
No, I mean it's the story is that they're kind of native to the region.
They have the wings of a dragon and a powerful tail, and they distinguish the powerful wings of a dragon, powerful tail, and they have a fierce and competitive spirit. What is this?
Right?
They're basically aura, only
Better.
they can fly.
Better, yeah.
In every way.
I want to go over the list of jobs because the number of jobs in Tactics is staggering. And it is a resource that Final Fantasy XIV pulls from in the series. And not just from others. Go ahead.
Even the sprite Viera are in sexy outfits. Just made me laugh.
What does that mean? What does that mean, Cobb?
I mean,
I gotta find my control.
Okay. So the humans had a list of jobs that only they could do. So here are the primary human jobs: soldier,
That's specious.
soldier, thief, archer, white mage, and black mage. And those were the primary jobs that a human could get. The secondary jobs, which basically once you mastered the primary job, you had the ability to opt to go to a better job or a secondary job, which is fighter, paladin, ninja, hunter, blue mage, and illusionist.
You have the thing in on the screen right now, Yumi.
Oh, do I?
Yeah.
Excellent.
So that all actually makes a whole lot of sense because everyone knows that white mage doesn't pay very well. It's mostly the intrinsic value you get from either letting people die or making people do what you want them to do, or you let them die.
White mage is the base class. It goes into everything else.
So base.
So looking at this whole list here, you see all the starter classes and you see the secondary classes and all that. Now, think to yourself.
Let's play a game. Can you spot Final Fantasy XIV jobs in this?
Exactly. Well, just think to yourself, like, in this tree, in all of the trees in the race that you select, you can mix and match all of those classes' abilities. So every ability that you get from, let's say, we'll go Banga. Say you start as a warrior and you go to Dragoon and Cannoneer. So you can mix and match Master Monk abilities with Cannoneer. You can mix and match Dragoon abilities with Templar. Anything within those trees, you can mix and match.
I'm a little bit confused by Ranger turning into Viking.
It's a bit of a leap.
I mean, the pinnacle of everything is Vikings, so it's not that bad for me.
I mean, to be entirely fair, Ranger is this is a CQ, so that's Tactics Advance 2,
Yeah.
and Ranger is broken as fuck if you know how to use them,
Yeah.
and way better than Viking. Though
I mean-
Viking is one of the few classes that can use axes.
I'm glad to see that Spellblade comes off of Red Mage, because in 14, Red Mage is basically a spell.
Spellblade was excellent. But yeah, a lot of these classes I expect to see later on in 14, just because there is a lot. This is basically the pool that they can choose from. I mean, this is an even bigger, more extensive list than what Final Fantasy V had.
Just so I can reply to Alex, the Pariver is basically samurai, and they're broken as fuck. I mean, I don't know how do you. I mean, for in Tactics Advance, and in Tactics Advance 2, I got a kind of a habit, which is the main character, either Marchi or either Luso, to make them hunters the moment I can, because I like bows first. And in Tactics Advance, here is the tree for Tactics Advance 2. So Numo is missing a job, which is the Morpher. Surely you remember the Morpher, Ayumi?
Yes, I do.
Fucking broke.
A lot of them were.
But
yes,
is Paravir delicious?
I mean, I guess yes. The first time but there, if you see one that's against your team, then you have to worry, because the damage output is insane. I mean, yeah, the first time I went against one of those fuckers, that damage, I mean, was like, what? What? But yeah, I usually go with Hunter, because Hunter, once you get which weapon is it that gives them Sidewinder? Is it the Hades' bow?
Yes, it is. I think no. So the way abilities worked in the game was you gained abilities from the classes, and you also gained abilities from the weapons that you fought with. They each had a meter that you built up. Once you built that meter up to max, you learned the ability from that weapon. And you also had abilities on the armor itself, too. Build up that meter. And
basically like Final Fantasy IX.
Exactly. And from there, of course, you went into your status menu, and from there you can mix and match your abilities. You can select so each, you had stats where you could select a reflexive ability. So the reflexive ability was something that activated whenever someone attacked you. You had a support ability, 2 support abilities that you could activate for attacking or defending. Let me see what else. It's called BattleTech, I believe.
Hey, BattleTech is a completely different franchise.
Sorry, just trying to find it here.
Big stompy robots. So, what was your favorite class aside from Paravir?
And it's not my favorite class, but but I mean, just saying that's my favorite class. Oh, that's a complicated one. I have a soft spot, even though it's not like the most powerful class. It's kind of a bridge class for third tier classes. I like the Vieras Elementalist. Basically, Viera Elementalist works. They have almost a skill for each element, save Holy. It's a
Okay.
single target, but VR Elementalist also has the only healing ability that doesn't come with the holy element, which bypasses the law of the holy element forbidden. So because when we talk about these two games, we have to talk about laws, which is it's a whole different thing.
So the way the menu worked was you had two action abilities, one reflexive ability, one support ability, and one combo ability. The way the action abilities worked is you had your primary ability first, which is the class that you actually were itself. So if you were a ninja, you had your ninja skills. The second ability would be your skill set from your second job. So if you were a ninja / soldier, the second ability would contain your soldier skill set. The reflexive ability, like I said earlier, would activate whenever you were attacked. The support ability would basically be something that augments you, similar to, well, let's just say, for example, double sword would be your ability to be able to dual wield. That would be one example of a support ability. And the fight combo, that would be kind of like an ult attack. You would build up enough JP during a... JP is another way of saying meter. During an encounter that you would do an ultimate attack with that class.
Combined with how many team members of that are around that also have the combo ability.
Yes.
Also, if you hoard 10 G points, then if you have unlocked, say, Totema or Esper, then you can summon it.
Yes.
There's one for in Tactics Advanced. There's one for each race, so there's 5.
I have to apologize. You said ninja skills, and the old fucker in me was like, would those be elite ninja skills?
Yes, they would be.
You had Guild Toss. There was Guild Toss, and there was Item Toss.
No. A Guild Toss is for the jugglers. They're
was
the
it?
one.
I'm
Yes.
misremembering that. Okay. So they had Item Toss, didn't they?
Yes.
Okay, because I did remember tossing a potion at someone, and it killed them.
No.
That sounds amazing, and I want that in 14.
No, you have to throw them the weapon. The one who can basically...
No, that was Chemist.
No. Chemist in the original Tactics, but the ones who can do that in Tactics Advanced 2 are the Rangers.
I'm talking about
the Sick
Advanced
Rangers.
1.
Yeah, but in Tactics Advanced 1, no one can do that. But in Tactics Advanced 2, the Rangers have I don't know the name of the ability. Reverse counter effect. Basically, you take an item and they basically reverse the effect for the one it's given it, and with a passive that increases their it's a ranger passive that increases the potency of healing items. You could basically go if you had enough X potions, you just could go over. Steamroll your way through the enemy lines, just giving them 400 damage X potions with the range.
Yes, no, ninjas can throw the weapons from their inventory, and then jugglers can also throw weapons.
Yes.
And throw is in A2. It was ninjas that could throw.
So that sounds amazing. Just like turning every fight into a bar fight and just smacking
Pretty
people
much.
with potion bottles.
That sounds actually like the best thing.
They can. I mean, Rangers literally can use a counter effect, a reverse effect with a Phoenix down, give it to an enemy, and that's the same effect as the death spell.
I do remember enemies being able to throw their items at me.
Yes,
and that was so annoying.
Yes, and you're like, you shouldn't have an inventory. Where are you getting this thing?
Where are you getting all your potions from?
That too.
They should be healing me.
I mean, they are
True.
surrounded by glass, which would hurt.
Yeah, I'm getting hit in the face with glass.
True. Now I'm recalling the Guild Wars stream in which we decided to fight a bandit with a bottle.
Yep. That's exactly what it is.
So the thing is, like we said before, like play the game of spotting the Final Fantasy XIV jobs in this tree. Surely you can.
Oh yeah. Can you spot all of the 14 jobs in this
Sounds like a trivia time.
image.
Trivia time.
Yep.
I heard that in my head.
Ready,
in Sam's
set, go.
voice.
Not with Meowth and I, with all of you.
So I do have to say I'm really looking forward to the 14 expansion that has Juggler on the cover, because I just see someone juggling like bombs or something, and
The Nashu
They-
but I
job.
see a lot of potential for like Trickster though, or like an illusionist, because I could see that for like 3 seconds you take all aggro away from whatever boss you're fighting, and the illusion takes all the damage. So for like tank busters, that would be amazing. It's the ultimate buff.
The thing is that illusionist doesn't really work like that in the game. It's a mage class that has all enemy hitting elemental spells. So they basically, and if they're in the opposite team, they're quite annoying because they tend to go to the most opposite corner to where you are and start casting spells, because no matter where they are, their spells hits the entire enemy group.
Oh, so they're assholes basically.
Yeah, a lot of jobs in Tactics Advance have not only just regular area of effects, like big area of effects, they can hit anyone on the whole map. And you have to go after them immediately.
Yeah.
Thanks, I hate it. Unless they're on my team, and then I love it.
Oh yeah.
In Tactics Advance 2, there's the Scholar, which is a Numo job, which is basically an illusionist, but their spells also affect their own team. But so at first sight, you would say it sucks. But if you're using a team, you equip them with elemental absorbing gear, and you start spamming, say, ice element, while your team has like ice shields that absorb and turn the damage into healing, then things become a bit different, right?
So does Scholar just always originate from races that are just short, squat people?
Kind of.
Well,
Because it comes from the Numo here, and it comes from the Tonberries in 14. I just thought that was interesting.
I prefer the Numo to the Lalafell, to be fair, but
I mean, the Lalafell on the first are amazing.
true. That's fair.
Honestly,
And,
I can see Elementalists coming up next too.
Elementalist, but you know the thing that in French conjurer is called elementalist, so we kind of already have it. So it's kind of a missed opportunity to have a magic job that has all the fucking elements and status conditions.
Not only that, it was a Viera only job at first.
Yep. Yes. Also, Red Mage was only Viera job, but the Red Mage is older than that though. And there's I'm kind of remembering now that Tactics 7-2 was the first game that introduced the Green Mage, and that was Viera only too. So
let's continue with what they say, or what they Guru has to say about the jobs.
What? Sorry.
Let's continue with what they what classes they'd like to see about in 14. The rest of the crew does.
Oh, okay.
So Cobran, Fao, or Sarah, or Arden, taking a look at these jobs, what do you think would be ideal for them to add?
I mean, Fusilier, even though they've got machinists with the guns, they're kind of moving away from that. And I know Musketeer was originally a class that was planned for 1.0, and they've already got everything set up in Limsa for Fusilier. So I think that would be an easy one for them to implement. Like dual wielding pistols or something.
It was called a Corsair at one point.
Yeah.
Oh no!
Shut your whore mouth.
Wow.
And we know that Geomancer is kind of like Eastern Astrologian, and then they introduced a few key differences later on when they're like, it's not quite Astrologian. So
We have a so-called Geomancer in the Astrologian Quest.
yeah, he's an idiot.
Yeah, there's lots of jobs in 14 that you'll never get access to that exist in the world for sure.
Yeah. Kaya Huko, I think is his name, right?
Yeah, so
from the
we've got
Astrologian Quest.
him as a Geomancer. We've got Beastmaster from Bosja.
Yeah.
And I think a Fencer would be really cool, like a melee only red mage.
Zeruntia would look at that and be like, but where's the flair?
Yeah, exactly.
Literally
There's no
and figuratively.
style. I do think that we are due for another DPS though.
In terms of this, getting back to Ivalice for a moment, the only thing I can see with my limited understanding of these jobs is either a Dark Knight or a Reaper kind of analog, maybe from Fighter, but with like a darker bent. Everything else seems pretty clear cut and covered.
Yeah,
For the
Tinker
next
is basically
expansion, we're probably going to get 2 DPS. So if I was going to choose 2 DPS off of this chart, one would have to be a caster and the other one would probably share ninja gear. So I'm trying to think of what would fit with that.
and I can see Beastmaster as a limited job easy.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I want like a Riku style healer, like a chemist, where
Yeah.
you have something to do with all these damn potions that are just sitting in my retainers.
Yeah, I agree. We kind of hoped for that for this expansion for some reason, didn't we?
There
Well,
was
yeah.
the teaser of the little cute Mikote girl in 5.3 wanting to be
Let's get
a
chemist. No,
chemist.
you're
Yeah.
getting laser sci-fi healer.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, are we gonna get Chemist? No, you're getting Sage. You're gonna get
Yeah.
You're gonna get a literal arcade box with guns.
Yeah, which is nothing like Sage in any other game. Like when I think Sage, I think Bannon from Final Fantasy VI, who
That's
just
right.
has AoE heals and you can just go around the river forever and AFK.
you know,
and go to max level.
So yeah, this is actually interesting because in maybe Ayumi, you play Tactics Advance 2, right?
Yes, I did.
Sages in this they didn't have the spell in the original Tactics Advance, but they do have Scathe in Tactics
A2.
Advance 2, and Scathe in Tactics and in 12 is not the stupid thing that is in that black mages have, but it's a fucking goddamn big ass laser beam.
That is a scathing critique of Scathe in 14.
I hate you.
So basically, sages in Tactics and in Ivalice, they do have laser beams. So yeah.
And one of the primary reasons I consider a paladin to be one of the most broken jobs. I'm gonna go over some of its abilities too.
Holy Blade.
Hold on. It had nurse. It could heal itself. It had defense, which raises the weapon defense and magic resist for 1 turn. It had cover. Cover, basically, if you cast it on one of your allies, as long as the cover ability persisted, you would teleport to their position on the map if the ally was attacked, and take the damage or the attack. Subdue.
You have the counter.
It was dumb. Subdue. You would hold back an attack to deal only light damage. You could drop weapon, which would quickly toss the weapon out of the hand and back into stock. So if you were worried about losing a weapon, you could put it back into your inventory. You could parlay, which would convince the target to leave the field of battle. You had Saint Cross, which was a area of holy damage. And you had Holy Blade, attacked with a pure heart, deals holy damage, which was basically Thunder God Sid attack.
I mean 30 MP, but worth it.
It's Paladins were so OP. And they could wear plates, they could dual wield. They had cover, and if you spec them right with other classes, like with cover and reflex and all that, broken. I'm going to hit your ally. No, I have cover. I have reflex. I dodge that. I have counter. I'm going to hit you with both both Excalibur and Excalibur 2.
That sounds great.
I mean, when it basically turns a class that's supposed to be sort of tanky into a... Paladin is the definition of a blue DPS.
Yeah, pretty much.
So that reminds me of like when people are RPing and they're like, I hit you for so much damage. And they're like, well, actually, I cast this, that, and the other thing, and you're fucking dead.
And the thing is, you were able to do that. Like, that was perfectly okay. It is within the game's limits for you to do that.
I mean, if we're speaking about tanks being unexpectedly destructive, have you tried the defender? The defender is probably the most tanky job. It's a banga job.
They were rough to kill.
That's a way to put it. But they have this thing that they have aura, which is basically
Save the queen.
It's basically a re-raise and a region, and then you have another weapon, which is I don't know, what's it called, Meltdown? But basically, Meltdown
self-KO deals area damage equal to own HP. So it was Nightshade.
Fucking high because you're a tank, and you pull Meltdown, you kill yourself, you kill the people around you, and then you re-raise because you have set aura with your own scale.
So that's really interesting because we have seen Meltdown in 14. We've seen it twice actually. And Ishtola casted it both times. She casted it on Emmett Selk, and she casted it in Yulmore.
I really want to see it again.
The defenders also had the ability Expert Guard, which also prevented all MP and HP damage for one turn.
Yes.
You became invincible. You basically had Holy Ground.
Yeah. Hollow Ground, yeah.
Hollow Ground, yep.
So yeah, but
Aura enhances aura to bestow auto life and auto regen. I need to get away from defenders' abilities. Pissed me off.
I mean, there are some very broken combinations in Tactics Advance 2. There was Assassin with Green Mage, because I mean in Tactics Advance plain Tactics Advance, I like Viera with Elementalist to basically fuck over the people with the status condition, with the debuffs. But in Tactics Advance 2 with the Green Mage, it was broken because assassins have a one-hit kill ability, which it's fairly precise, but with Green Mage you could use, I don't know what's it called, Tranquility or something like that, that increases your accuracy. So it was like, okay, I'm going to increase my movement range, I'm going to increase my accuracy, and I'm going to kill everyone here.
I'm going to go over assassin abilities real quick. So they had Shadowbind, which stops the target by pinning their shadow to the ground. Last Breath, which dealt a swift shock, knocking the target out. So it was basically a one-hit kill. Aphonia, which attacked, it was an attack aimed at the throat to silence them. Nightmare, it put them to sleep and sometimes put doom on them. Ague, it caused feverish chills to slow the target. Rock Seal seals the target in stone and causes petrification. Oblivion, attack to the head, addles them. And Ultima Masher, assassin attack born from Ultima Magic. one of their reaction abilities I really loved, which was Return Fire. Basically, anyone who shot arrows at you, you shot them right back. You took no damage from arrows. You would catch it and then shoot them right back.
Oh man, Guildmaster Lucian would hate that.
True.
It was so bonkers. Just the amount of abilities, the amount of reflexive abilities, support abilities. So fun. I would love a remake of Advance or Advance 2.
Oh, that would be great. I'm trying to search here for the art of of each of the jobs. So give me a moment here.
Question: how involved in Advance and Advance 2 was Matsuno?
Fairly, if I recall, but not. Maybe Yumi has more insight than I do.
Let me look that up because it was made by Business Division 4 at the time, Development Division 4. Yeah, he was on the project. Designer was Yasumi Matsuno and Hitoshi Sakamoto.
Oh, Sakamoto, of course. That's why music.
The music, well, the OST for both games is great. Just saying. To search here for.
Yeah, it was originally thought as like a port of Tactics. It was developed as an entirely new storyline and setting, and received big changes to make it more user-friendly for the GBA handheld console, like a quick save function.
True, I lost count of how many times I used a quick save function. Really handy.
So yes, Matsuno did have a hand in it. As for how much he did, it's uncertain, but I am sure he had a major hand in it, considering the amount of jobs that were included and the Ivalice references that were involved.
I'm giving Fao some of the arts for the jobs, but I think I'm missing some of them.
It was the development team had a bunch of the Tactics Ogre members on the team, so if that gives you any idea. Tactics Advance, also Nobuo was on the main theme, and Hitoshi Sakamoto did the majority of the music.
Yep. Give me a moment. I'm trying to search for.
So basically, this game had the good shit.
Oh yes.
Yeah, I mean, fair.
Because I've always heard like a lot of criticisms, like, "Oh, it's not a real tactics game. It's in Ivalice, but it's not Ivalice," and blah 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 blah.
Don't listen to that.
Yeah.
Also, Tactics Advance 2 has a really cool villain. In terms of design, and also the fight with her, that's one of the most annoying fights, to be fair, that I've had in this series, and she's quite intimidating, cool.
So the interesting thing about A2 was Matsuno did not exactly have a hand on it. It was developed by members of the advanced team, though.
So we have a question in chat. What is the FFT Tactics Ogre Deep Dungeon Nibeth Elidibus crossover connection?
That was the sentence. What?
You probably mean
What is the Final Fantasy Tactics / Tactics Ogre / Deep Dungeon / Nibeth?
It's like an extra series of battles that's in the original Tactics. Ayumi, can you explain this better than probably than I do?
Oh, you're referring to the thing that we talked about the week before?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, let me pull that up.
But yeah, just to fill the air, as Alex says, there is a necromancer in the Deep Dungeon in Final Fantasy XIV who is from Tactics Ogre. That is a character from Tactics Ogre, which is the original game that kind of spawned
Palace
a
of the
series of
Dead?
games.
That's
Palace of the Dead and Delubrum Reginae.
Yeah.
Now the boss in DR is not named Nybeth, but it is the same model.
Oh, right, it wasn't named that.
I mean, I don't see any compilation of the jobs for Kangria. It's regrettable, but anyways. So Fao, I basically share with you the jobs from at least from Tactics Advance.
I've been rolling through them.
The arts.
We're at the Viera now. But yeah, I guess just to answer directly, Nybeth Obdalord was from Tactics Ogre, Let Us Cling Together, and it's just a villain. And if I recall, wasn't this Matsuno's game? Am I wrong about this?
Which one?
He came to Square after
Tactics Ogre.
Yes, Matsuno's game.
Yeah, it's Matsuno's game. So Matsuno being involved from the start with this kind of tactics genre.
The Necro Hall of Nabudi is the one you're thinking of.
Oh,
I believe.
The Necro Hall. No, I think the one they're referring is the extra dungeon in Tactics, the original Tactics.
That was just called Deep Dungeon. The final tier had an Elidibus character who had the summon Zodiark.
Exactly.
So there are a series of separate connections. Basically, they're all love letters to the games they came from.
Sorry, I was kind of, I lost the track for a moment. So yeah, basically, if we go by plot, well, to be fair, I'm not sure if I don't really want to speak much about the plot of Tactics Advance or Tactics Advance 2, just in case someone, not just in the chat, but someone around here in the crew wants to play them. But how should I put this? Help me, Ayumi. I mean, Tactics Advance 2 is the sequel to Tactics Advance, but it takes place in past Ivalice because the Grimoire again doing its thing.
So it's in a brand new region of Ivalice. It takes place in Jilland. Yeah, yep, at the junction of two big continents. One of which is Ordalia.
And the other one is Roll.
Yep, and the job system from Advance Returns, of course, with action abilities, reaction, support, so on and so forth. The laws system, which we haven't gone over yet.
Yeah.
If you haven't already seen or known yet. So the laws in Tactics Advance 2 were basically every time you went on a map, a judge appeared. And the judge would issue a certain rule for the map, such as you can't use items, or you can't use abilities, or you can't use summons. Just one thing that you cannot do during your encounter. If you broke that rule, you were issued a warning, and whoever broke that rule would gain a debuff. I think it was, right?
After
So-
battle.
If you're drinking a White Claw, do those still apply? Because there ain't no laws when you're drinking the claws.
Don't call me out.
so, so,
So when the player breaks a law or a card by committing a forbidden action, the judge departs and the upper screen changes to like a gray theme. And without the
A2.
support of judges, players can't be revived. Once they're knocked out, they'll be displayed as trapped in a metal cage at the top of the screen. Rather than being determined by the time of the year, specific laws are tied to specific missions. So you can kind of tell which laws are going to which map to begin with.
the thing about the screen chain, that's in A2. That's in Tactics Advance 2. In the first Tactics Advance, you could actually check which laws are in effect in the area you're going to make the next mission. They change as you move around the map, so you could more or less adjust them so they don't screw with you that much.
Yeah. In the original Tactics, it wasn't as bad when you broke one rule, but if you continued to break them, your character would go to jail. The character that broke them went to jail, and the only way you could get them back was by breaking them out of jail, paying a fee.
I thought there was an actual mission where you had to go break them out of jail.
No.
You do have a mission in which you have to break someone else out of jail.
Yeah, there's someone there. That's a different story though.
But basically, you have to first break them out of jail by with Gil, and then if you wanted to remove the mark in
Penalty.
their profile that shows that they have the yellow card, then you have to send them back to jail for a number of battles so they could be pardoned.
Yeah,
entirely.
basically you had a blemish on your character profile if you broke a rule. And in order to remove that, you had to remove them from battle for a while.
So it's like football, where you get yellow cards right there.
God damn it.
I mean, yeah, it's basically that. Also, the opposite team can also break the rules. They usually don't.
Yep.
Because AI, but you can sometimes trick them into doing that.
Yeah, you can force their hand.
And it's them who go to jail.
Yep.
Though if there's a boss battle, then expect the boss to have some sort of ribbon or something that prevents them from going to jail, and they can do whatever the fuck they want because they won't get expelled from the battlefield. Of course,
Later
it's a
on
boss
during
battle.
the game in the original Tactics Advance, you will get an ally where you don't have to worry too much about that.
And there's in Tactics Advance 2. This is actually something interesting in that in these two games, it's stated that it's the judges who have the power. They're the reason people don't.
Power.
Yeah, they're the reason people don't die in battle.
Yes.
If you have the protection of a judge, then no one dies in battle, which is helpful considering how many turf wars happen between clans.
That is really good.
It is, yeah. So you do not want to break a rule in your battles.
Unless you get Judge Dredd, and then everyone dies. But
and it's racing game. Of course, when Marcha first learns in the first game, there are places without judges. Why don't everyone goes there? Which is the Jags, and then of course Montblanc and Nono and his brother Nono explain to him, well, if it was this happy and everything, everyone would go to the jacks. The problem is in a place where there's no judges, it means that if you fall in battle, it's you're done for. And it happens if you go to a jagged, if you happen to fight in a jagged, there's no there's no laws that you have to follow. But if a character, if one of your units falls in battle and you fail to revive them before the battle is over, it's a unit lost forever.
See, that was going to be my question, is there permadeath in this?
Yes, there is.
Yes.
And it really sucks if you have a unit that you spend a lot of time on and cross-class quite a bit, because, yeah.
Gear.
Can't hurt
I
too
like
much.
that.
You're calling them units.
Oh, they're not even people. That's awful.
I swear that you come to a point that you care for each one of them as if they were your children.
I cared a lot for my paladin and a few other units too.
Yeah.
Oh,
Even
I'm a long
Tactics
time.
felt the same way.
I'm a long time XCOM veteran, so
I
know
was
that
just
pain.
thinking that, Cope. Yeah. And when they die, you feel it.
Yeah. You have a 95% chance to hit that shot, and they shoot themselves in the head.
XCOM is a broken game that needed a patch from the beginning. I've heard. 5%
No.
I mean,
is not 5% in
that's
that game.
that's just reminding me how fucking annoying the accuracy just works in. The accuracy system in Tactics Advance, the original, they adjusted this in A2, but in the original, it's basically 500% under normal circumstances that you would land a hit if you're attacking a unit from the front side. From the flanks, if it's 60%, 70%, it's 80% if you attack from behind, from the rear. But it's still a percentage, and my RNG isn't known for being the best of. So when it's kind of annoying that you're kind of trying to, okay, I'm going to cast a spell on this fucker up the hill, okay, then you cast a spell, miss, and you and it's like, I was hitting from the flank, but the game is like, nope. And even if you're hitting from the rear, nope, still miss. And then of course the computer always lands its hits, but we all know that story. Anyways. So yeah, the thing is, in this universe, judges are the protection from death, so to speak. In Tactics Advance 2, it's not that widespread. Only clans that had made a deal with, have entered a pact with a judge, have the judge's protection, which means that they won't die in battle. And it's a big deal of the plot that there are people trying to control or take away judges from clans. In fact, one of the early game missions in which you're introduced to the plot in Tactics Advance 2 is a criminal organization trying to bribe you into selling them your judge, so you can get the idea.
Quick announcement: Arden's internet has been disabled by the God of Thunder.
F.
So, yeah, but just wanted to let everybody know. That's all.
Another quick announcement: if you ever find an emulator for Tactics or Tactics Advance 2, play it.
It's and I have to say, Tactics Advance 2, the first Tactics Advance, it's, I think it's a game that hits you the older you get in terms of plot. Maybe you feel the same as you me. because I have to give you a bit more context. I played Tactics Advance 2. It was my first Final Fantasy. It was my first Final Fantasy game ever. period. It was the first, which is why still to this day, when the concept of Final Fantasy is mentioned, my first instinct thought is Ivalice.
Who was it that said Gadgeteer would be the best to add? That would be interesting to add.
If it works like engineer in Guild Wars 2, I'd take it.
No.
Definitely not me.
No, because Gadgeteer, I want to go over this because if you have bad RNG in 14... yeah, so here you go. They have the commands work as such. Red Spring, their skill, works like haste, but who will it hit? Blue Screw works like dispel, but who will it hit? Green Gear inflicts poison, but who will it hit?
Okay.
I'm sensing a theme.
And Silver Disc inflicts darkness, but who will it hit? Gold Battery and heals HP, but whose? Black
You're
Ingot.
basically a goblin sapper at this point. Like,
Yes.
you're dead
Every
for
one of their
sure.
abilities hits one random person.
No, actually the Tinker Bar Gadgeteer hits either your team or the opposite team, and it entirely depends on if RNG blesses you or curses you, and literally curses you because one of these abilities can inflict doom on the entire team, but which one?
So
But
the
which
key
team?
the key is then to only have that one unit alive on your team and their team with everyone else. And then, with my luck, it would kill my own team.
All right, how about this? How about this? I don't know if this is even possible. If there was a life 3 or a re-raise mechanic, maybe like 50% chance you wipe the enemy team. Maybe.
And the other 55%
You'll
is you
res at
kill
one
yourself.
point.
I mean, to be fair, I mean, you know how Blue Mage works, right? Blue Mages are in
Blue Mage in Tactics Advance were so good, and it's way better than what they are in 14.
I mean, yes, but they learn roulette from Arimans, which is, you know what roulette does. Of course, it's insta-kill on a random member, on a random unit on the field. And when I say random, I say completely random.
And here I was thinking it would just like pluck them up and drop them in a random map with a random group of people.
But no, but the thing is, Blue Mage, if you devote yourself to training a Blue Mage in the Tactics series, they really pay off in the end. Because especially if you pair them with some Numo that has Beastmaster abilities. Because of course you sometimes need the fucking monster ability to hit you, and some of them are buffs. And if you don't control the monster, they won't hit you with them, of course.
So this is a bit of a tangent, but I just pulled up an image. I was on the Lich page for Tactics Ogre, and apparently this is the art for the male and female Liches. And I don't know how I feel about this.
I mean, I would hit the female Lich. I would be entirely honest.
I see. Some of us have had a good influence on you, Arden and Neela, not being here.
Hey, can someone appreciate the thing?
Yes, the answer is yes.
Thank you.
I don't know. I'd like Time Mage. Time Mage to be added.
But I thought you didn't like time.
Well,
I'm not going to answer that.
I am, of course, being facetious.
I will say, they look like they dropped out of They Live, but with way better fashion.
also, if you have played Final Fantasy XII and you recall the judges, you may notice that the 3 judges in the cover of Tactics Advance, one of them, the one to the right, is actually Judge Drace, from the female judge from Final Fantasy XII. And I would say that the one in the right is Judge Sargabath. Kind of interesting it's interesting in the sense that Tactics Advance came before, so they likely got the from the art the designs for the judges in Final Fantasy 12.
Yes. So the Time Mage's abilities are Haste, Quicken, Slow, Reflect, Stop, Silence, Quarter, and Demi. Reflect worked a little bit differently as the way it did in normal Final Fantasies, in that it reflects white, red, time, and black magic, so it was a little bit more specific.
Man, I want Demi in 14 so bad.
Right? Quarter and Demi, straight up 1/4 and 1/2 of the target's HP is gone.
They had in Advance 2, in Tactics Advance 2, they had another ability. I don't know what the name in English, but basically reverts the unit it hits with the values it was the turn before. So if you
it basically had a shuckle.
Yeah.
Power trick.
So if by some you could use it in your allies, like in took very bad hits, you could use this ability to revert them to how they were before they lost a lot of health. Or if an enemy healed, you can just reverse that. That was a quirky ability to use.
They also had the reaction ability Last Quicken, which if they took a massive amount of damage and were severely wounded, they would take their turn immediately.
I mean, to be fair, to play insta turn abilities, I prefer the juggler with Smile. Was it that they can toss the insta turn basically it's a free MP, lots of fun.
Yeah, Smile spreads the joy to allow the ally to attack immediately.
I mean, I just noticed that you likely have the entire.
No.
I've just realized that you likely have the entire the entire ability list in front of you, and you're reading the description from it.
Yeah, and literally, I have the job list in front of me. All I have to do is click the job. Abilities done.
And I was like, wow, the memory. Yeah. But the thing, so to speak, is there's a lot for in terms of 14. We know that it draws a lot from Ivalice, but from Tactics Advance and Tactics Advance 2, the first thing I noticed was that Yoshi P was quite fond of taking jobs from these games, because it's to be fair, it's likely, aside from Bravely Default is not really a Final Fantasy game, it's kind of a spin-off of sorts. But aside Bravely Default, I can't think of any other game that has a wider pool of jobs than these two games.
So in Final Fantasy 3 and 5, there were a huge selection of jobs. Final Fantasy 5 was the one where you could finally cross-class skills, but not to the degree that you could in Final Fantasy Tactics Advance. With Advance, it was so
creative.
It was creative. It was complex. It was streamlined, and it was intuitive. And it was something that I wished that the cross-class skill system was in 14. It just was, you couldn't really do that in an MMO very well.
You can sort of,
but that's
that's
okay.
right.
Not every game needs balance.
Especially not single player
Well,
certainly not the tactics.
It's a little bit controversial in MMO design, but like when you have players, like the high-end players will always find the meta. It doesn't matter how nicely you tune the game. It's very likely that people will find out what does the best damage or whatever, what tanks the best, no matter what. So being obsessed about balance rather than allowing game freedom is a choice. So the developers could make a game that's unbalanced but more flexible, and that would be fine. It's just a different style of game.
Also, Cobron, yes, you will play this game and you will like it.
I didn't say anything. I just said I'm not playing this broken game. I just want all the broken things in this game for me in 14, but just for me. No one else.
I mean, it's not that you can't sort of cross abilities in MMOs. Like Guild Wars 2 does it. Like I explained, like I showed Yumi the other day. It's just that instead of doing with classes, you have a class and the cross abilities come from different weapons.
Yes.
But the idea is basically the same, you know?
Yeah,
I mean,
because again, when you equip your weapons and gear, they have abilities attached to them, and the more you fight with them, the bigger the meter the more the meter progresses, and then once the meter is fulfilled, you learn that ability.
The mastery system for abilities works basically the same as Final Fantasy. Well, I can think of Final Fantasy IX because of the main series. Is the only one I can think of that works the same as the tactics game for learning abilities. So basically, as you fight and you send characters on a mission, they earn job points, and each for mastering its ability, you need a certain amount of job points. And once it's mastered, you don't have to equip the weapon to use that ability, basically.
Yeah, you basically, on the map, you basically met back at your home point, which was a pub. And you, with your clan members, which your clan could be massive, or you could just have a small amount.
So you're saying the main cast, which is a bunch of kids, made their headquarters in a bar.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Also illegal, but awesome.
Yeah.
Hey,
I mean,
in Ivalice.
That's right.
They wanted to leave?
They made friends, and they could make their clan as big as you can make your clan as big as you want, or you can just keep it to, just a small cast of characters. I would suggest against that, though. But you could send your clan members out on missions to do what you wanted to, and while they were out on missions, you could do things physically yourself, travel by yourself.
Could they die on this?
No.
No.
You can fail the mission though, and it's kind of annoying when you have to because each step each step that you take in the map, it's a day. Some missions take 30 days to complete for the unit to come back. And then if they fail the mission, you have to wait until the mission is available again at certain time of the sort of year in the game. And second, hope that your character doesn't fail again.
Basically, each battle takes away a day, and every time in the MSQ, you will discover basically new areas in the map, and you can place those areas on the map yourself, so you can create what the map looks like.
In Tactics Advance, in the second one, because Tactics Advance is mostly the kids creating their own version of Ivalice.
Yes.
The second one is established, but still, it's still really fun, and there's many things to do. Yeah,
I miss it, and I wish I still had my Game Boy Advance or Advance SP so I could play it again, because I would.
Play it in well, I'm not going to say third-party tools, but
which, by the way, we don't advocate.
Absolutely not.
Hey, Yumi.
What? I advocate playing Advance on stream.
Heck yeah.
I mean, absolutely. I would join for that stream.
So
I mean, I've never played it, so there you go.
Can I add a little bit of editorial commentary really quick?
Absolutely.
Go ahead.
I am looking at this key art for Tactics Advance, and all I can think about is how Delita is holding a teddy bear, and he's looking envious at Ramza, who's holding a basket of bread, and 3 Garlean legatuses are showing up, angry that their lunch got stolen.
You know, you're not too far off.
So that's Final Fantasy Tactics Advance, apparently.
Meanwhile, Agrius with the pink hair.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, obviously there are artistic tics that you see with Square Enix and the various other JRPG companies, and it's not uncommon at all to see like similar design cues, as we know from all the characters.
I mean, I would say to answer to Alex, I would say it's the other way around. The judges and the legatuses from the legatee from Garamald, especially in the Bodja questline, in which they're trying to look like Final Fantasy Evolution judges. Their inspiration is clearly taken
Alex
from
is
them.
calling you out, Meow. Nuh-uh, the newer game.
What have you been teaching? What have you been teaching people, Coberan? You the other day you were saying that 13 copies stuff from 14, and now it's permeating.
I mean, if it wasn't true, people wouldn't be saying it.
Many people are saying this.
Many people, everybody's saying it.
Yeah, more than one. In fact, I count 2. Me and Alex.
People are saying it. Oh boy.
Okay,
Moral of the story is you need to play this game if you can somehow do it through an emulator or otherwise.
And we will likely open a channel if any of you play it, so we can fanboy over broken combinations. And hey, I created this job combination.
Mixing and matching. I really loved it. Like it was so good, and I wish it found its way into 14 and could be balanced.
So we're coming up on time. I wanted to show everyone Arden was working on a schedule for us. It's not filled out yet, but we'll have this posted at some point, probably this week. Please look forward to it.
TM.
Yoshida-san, do not sue me, please.
Oh, it looks so good.
It looks so clean. Arden is amazing at this stuff.
And then Lightning knocked her internet up.
Yeah, Lightning got mad. Lightning returned.
Lightning the sequel.
What else? We're going to be rating a player today who is in Garlemald, so please be gentle. But give them a few chats if you feel like hanging around. And anything else the cast has.
Look forward to tomorrow. To Cops tomorrow. Stream tomorrow.
I will say I was playing Babel. Is that Tower of Babel?
Tower of Babel.
Yeah, and I got serious PTSD from the second boss in there because I was like, "Oh shit! I didn't realize you escaped from the Vile Peaks. Go back, please. Now I don't want this anymore. Please go back."
Now you realize the true horror of the elegant bots.
Yeah, no, I hate them.
I mean, I was like, Cops shared this, and I was like, and he made a comment like, where are my synergist saboteurs? And I was like, so you thought that you could play Final Fantasy 13 only with Commando and Ravager? Oh, you poor sweet summer child!
I never said that. After an hour.
Meanwhile, Cobb is like, man, I want all the female characters, including Fang and Lightning, to all be Commando.
That is true.
To be going Commando or to be Commando?
to be a commando and be commando in 13, but not Vanille. And Fang needs a shower, but Lightning's fine.
Fang needs a shower?
Yeah. Have you seen her hair? She hasn't washed it in like 3 months.
Please join Cobran's stream. He's hilarious. Anyway,
Anyways.
everybody's going to be streaming, I think, this week, so please look forward to it. And we will have an episode plan in the next couple days for next Sunday. It's been fun as usual. Thanks for covering the stream, guys. I wish I could say I could commit to Tactics Advance, but I know that you all love it, and please play it if you have the urge. It seems.
I think Meowth and I were the only ones that like die hard played it back then.
I mean, I kind of want to now.
It seems fun.
I'm not gonna, but I kind of want to.
Do it!
I just want to break the game.
It's possible.
Yeah, you absolutely can. Also, Ayumi, I fear that if one day we are allowed to go off on Golden Sun, we will break the stream.
I think we'll break the Discord server.
That too!
It sounds like a good episode to me.
Nope, we're not going that route.
Everyone bully them into going that route.
Nope, take care, guys.
All right, have a good one.
We're going to drop the stream. Have a great rest of the weekend. Enjoy Memorial Day, or if you're at US, enjoy your 3-day weekend if you have one, and we'll see you soon.
Take care, everyone.
Right,
Bye.
bye-bye.